Good morning. Myself Dr. Vinayak. In this video, we will discuss about the question paper of the sixth semester. Just I will go to the model question paper. So, model question paper consists of part A and the part B. In a part A, generally you will have a 12 questions. In that, so you have to answer for 10 questions. So each question has 2 marks. 10 into 2, 20 marks. For example, some of the common questions just like expand ICBN, that means International Code of Botanical Nomenclature, like that. A word, expand APG. So ICBN, if you expand ICBN you will get 1 marks, and expand APG you will get the 1 marks. So like that, some other questions, that's what is cruciferous corolla, name the family in which it is characterized seen. So usually cruciform corolla means usually the 4 petals arranged in each manner, and commonly occurs in case of the Brassicaceae. So like that, some common questions are define ejaculation, comment on the calyx of Asteraceae. So like that, you will have a various simple 1 mark questions will be there in a part A. So name the inflorescence in the Euphorbiaceae, that is generally called as cyathium inflorescence. So what is scape? Scape is nothing but the inflorescence originated from the main stem that you will see in case of the Musaceae. So which oil yielding part of the coconut and groundnut. So usually in a groundnut seeds, as in coconut the endosperm is used for the inner layer, what that's used for the extraction of oil. So that is a botanical name of cotton, Gossipum sisypum. So mention its economic use. So usually used for the fiber extraction. Name the 2 important alkaloid optide from Catharanthus roseus. That is Catharanthus roseus is nothing but the Vinca rosea. Vincristin and the vinblastine will be isolated. They use it for the treating of the anti-cancerous drug. So like that, so you'll have the some 1 mark question. So each one will be of 1 to 2 sentence. You have to be write it out. Part B, that consists of from each unit you will have a 15 marks weightage question. So unit 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever the you have 4 unit, and each unit generally they will ask the 15 marks question, and each question will have a choice. That may be pattern is like that, 4, 4, 7 or 3, 5, 7 marks questions will be generally asking. If you just generally look at, right, then based on the first unit, that's usually taxonomical chapter, first unit, that is a write a note on cytotaxonomy. So you have to be comment on that, or write the 4 differentiation between the Faboidae and the Cisalpinidae. Write the diagnostic characteristic of the Rutaceae and mention the 2 botanical names. So this is a 4 plus 4 plus 7 marks question. So usually generally Faboidae character, that is usually legumes, fruit will be there, and also the in Cisalpinaceae, what the corolla arrangement you have to be mention it. So like that, so you have to be mention some distinguishable characteristics, like that. In Rutaceae, that's the diagnostic character, means the main features of the Rutaceae mainly. So glands dotted commonly occurs, and fruit of Rutaceae, that is called Hesperidium, that you have to be mentioned properly, and the arrangement of the thorns or the spines will be there, and polyadelphous condition. So like that you have to mention, and some give some examples, the citrus plants, so you have to mention some examples. So like that, some other questions just like mention the 2 merits and demerits of Bentham and Hooker system of classification. So you have to give some merits. What are the merits of Bentham? It is easy to adopt, and it is a universal system of classification and based on the natural system of classification. And usually demerits, so he has placed the gymnosperm between the dicot and the monocots. So like that, so you have to be mention the some disadvantages also. And given account on vegetables in Brassicaceae. Brassicaceae, so usually various vegetable crops just like mustard and also the Brassica vulneracea, Brassica nigra, Brassica junctia. So like that, the various crops is usually utilized from the Brassicaceae, that you have to be mentioned it. And you have to be mentioned the APSA diagnostics, usually the Umbelliferae, that is a coriander family. So you have to mention the diagnostic character with the examples. So like that, this is a unit 1. So like that, unit 2, unit 3 is the same pattern questions will be there. So in unit 2, generally the for example, see the some example what is Cipsella, and also the write the stipules. So usually Rubiaceae consist of inter and intrapetiolar stipules. So you have to write the diagram and explain with those stipules, and enumerate the diagnostic characteristic of Apocynaceae and mention the some botanical name with 2 examples. So we have to mention Apocynaceae, it is one of the Gamopetalae, and usually Apocynaceae mainly characterized by the milky latex, and also the usually coronary corona will be there, and generally the dumbbell shaped stigma will be there, and pair of follicles will be there. So these are some common diagnostic characters and examples for the Apocynaceae vinca rosea. So like that, so to be mentioned the some common example for that and mention their uses. Okay, so like that, similar type the list out the features of Verbinaceae or Rubiaceae. So like that, you have to be mentioned in unit 3. It is almost monocot and the monoclamidae family will becomes under unit 3. So usually the typical inflorescence of Araceae, protective spatha will be there. In the spatha inside you will find the male and the female flowers will be arranging, so that you have to be explained. Or vegetative features of Orchidaceae. So that means you have to be explain the vegetative character only, not the flora structure. That means how actually the root, stem, leaf arrangement will be there. So usually Orchidaceae, the epiphytic orchids will be there. You will have the velamen tissues and the hanging clinging root will be occurs, and leaf, that is usually thick leathery cuticles will be there. Okay, and the sunken stomata will be there, and also the stem is highly reduces and modified into a leaf like structure. So like that, you have to be mentioned some character, vegetative character only, and compare the characteristic flowers of the Musaceae and the Gingiveraceae. So usually trimerous flowers will be there, and you have to be explain those characters. So like that, so enumerate the characteristic of Poaceae. That is one important family. So that is a what grass family, that's the Poaceae or the Graminae. So you have to be explain the characters. So Pelia, Glemma, Laudicals, and also the fruit is called caryopsis, and the inflorescence, spikelet inflorescence will be there. So like that, you have to be explain the general characteristic of the Poaceae with examples. So all whatever the grass, that is Oryza sativa, paddy, wheat, maize, jawar, all comes under the family, but you should be compulsory mention the botanical name. So Oryza sativa, Triticum aestivum, Zea maize, okay, Sodium vulgare. So like that, you have to be mention the botanical name. In the last part, that is unit 4, usually the economic botany and the ethnobotany will be there. Generally in ethnobotany questions are just like define ethnobotany. So it is a branch of biology that deals with the interactions of the traditional knowledge with the people and the community. So like that, so it will be explained and its significance, why the ethnobotany is very important, and what is its application for the today's that you have to be mentioned. Or some generally they will ask some botanical name of the some of the plants: teak, Tectona grandis, rosewood. So like that, Dalbergia latifolia. So jackfruit, that is a heterocarpus, sorry, Autocarpus integrifolia. So like that, generally they will ask some of the scientific name of the some plants. Generally they will give the common name, and you have to be write the scientific name. For example, write the scientific name and family and uses of the pepper, Piper nigrum. So usually the part used is a fruit, and usually belong to the family Piperaceae, and it is used for the spices. So like that here to be mentioned. So like that ragi, that's a Elisina corecana, the family Poaceae. Pot used is a grains, and usually used for the powder and making the dishes, like that. So and even sometimes the husk is used as a fodder, so like that. So it may mentioned it. Now explain the process of beverages, taking some examples. So usually coffee berry generally used for the processing or the manufacture of the coffee powder. So processing that involved the parchment process and the dry process. So you have to mention the step-by-step method what I given in a notes, so that you have to be explained. And properly have to mention the botanical name. For example, coffea arabica, so you have to be mentioned it. Tea, if the sinensis, so like that you have to mention the which you plant or you explaining for their process, that you have to mention, and uses you have to be mentioned properly. So like that. So usually this is the last part. So usually part 1 2 3 4 like that will be there. And even some generally this is one question paper, just I have go through that. Otherwise, so you have some general questions just like what is heterogamous set, give an example. So usual heterogamous and the homogamous set commonly occur in case of the composite. So usually the example sunflower. So like that, write any two difference between the cereals and the millets. Okay, give a botanical name of some plants. So like that, generally the common questions will be arising. What is estivation, arrangement of the calyx and caroline, birthday condition, what is rostrum, where do you find it in case of the orchidaceae. So usually just like sometime they will ask the comment on calyx of astraceae, which type of inflorescence generally found in case of Euphorbiaceae. And so what is regma. So usually it is a type of fruit generally occur in case of the Euphorbiaceae, that's a castor fruit generally called. And what is gynostegium. Okay, and what is the merits and demerits of phylogeny system. Okay, and discuss the importance of herbaria. And sometime they may as describe the inflorescence of Lamiaceae, list out important characteristic of Myrtaceae. Okay, write the botanical name, family and uses of any plant. They will generally ask sunflower, safflower, cotton. So like that, generally they will ask some questions. For the large long answer question, generally compare the characteristic of Acanthaceae and Verbenaceae. Give the diagnostic features of Malvaceae with examples. Explain the process of beverages extraction. So write a note on timber yielding crops. Explain the features of the IPSA. So like that, give the systematic position and family of the Solanaceae and mention its characteristic. Explain the diagnostic characteristic of the Verbenaceae. So like that. So generally these type of questions will be asked in your examination. So on the basis, so first you should know how you have to be answered. That's very important thing. So you have to be mentioned proper answer for the proper question, because for 1 2 marks so you have to be write in 1 to 2 sentence only. So no need to write long answers. So for the long answer question you have to be specify with that. So if they ask the botanical name, family and uses, that only you have to mention it. Other things don't go to it. Or if as the definition, you write definition properly. Or if as the diagnostic character means, the only you write the important features of that particular family. Just don't write root, stem, leaf will be there. So don't write those characters. So you have to mention the proper diagnostic characteristic of that particular family. Okay, so if you have any questions, so you can clarify with the my mail. Thank you.